All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers and the 2025 season. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a lot of chatter from so-called experts out there who just don't seem to think this team has what it takes to hit double-digit wins. Kris Rhim over at ESPN has thrown out a bold prediction. He says the Chargers won't crack 10 wins in 2025. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got a problem with that. Honestly, it feels like he's selling this team short, and I'm here to tell you exactly why I think he's wrong. So, let's break it down. Are the Chargers poised for a disappointing season, or have they actually made the necessary moves to prove all the doubters wrong? What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Okay, first, let me tell you Kris Rhim's concerns, and then I will counter these one by one. The first thing Rhim pointed out was that the Chargers didn't improve enough in the offseason. The second thing he pointed out was Chargers' 2024 success came against weaker opponents. The third concern raised by the Rhim was that 2024 schedule was one of the easiest, and Chargers are facing a much tougher schedule in 2025. So let's talk about the roster first. Sure, the Chargers didn't make some massive splashy moves in the offseason, but when you really dig into it, they made solid upgrades across the board. If you're sitting here telling me they didn't improve, you're not paying attention. Take the wide receiver room, for example. In 2024, Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston were the primary guys, and while they're both great, the lack of depth became an issue at times. But now, with the addition of Trey Harris and Mike Williams back in the house, there's legitimate competition, and that makes this unit better. You can now go 4 deep with solid playmakers. And not that I am even counting Keandre Lambert-Smith B, who is capable of stepping up. So, we've got a dynamic group here, not just relying on 2 main guys to carry the load. With more weapons in the arsenal, the Chargers have the potential to stretch defenses much more effectively, giving Justin Herbert more options to target. Next up, the tight end position. We all know Hayden Hurst didn't exactly blow anyone away last season. But now, with Tyler Conklin and Oronde Gadsden II on board, the ceiling of this group has been raised. Conklin gives you a reliable safety net, and Gadsden has that potential to be a red zone threat. So, from what was one of the weakest rooms, we now have a group that can make a real impact. Conklin's ability to create mismatches in coverage is a huge addition to the offense. The Chargers can now deploy 2 legitimate threats at tight end, making the offense even harder to defend. That's a major upgrade from last year, where the position wasn't producing at the level you'd expect for a team with playoff aspirations. But let's not stop there. The offensive line. Yeah, it wasn't perfect last season, but bringing in Mekhi Becton is an upgrade that can't be ignored. The Chargers have struggled to keep Justin Herbert protected, and although it's not the complete overhaul everyone may have wanted, this is still a step in the right direction. The addition of Becton provides depth, and that's something this offensive line desperately needed. And then we get to the running back room, where things have gotten significantly better. The Chargers have struggled to be a consistent running team over the past few seasons, but now they have Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris. Hampton has the potential to be a future star in this league, and with Harris backing him up, you've got a balanced backfield that can take pressure off Herbert and the passing game. This is a team that wants to run the ball more effectively, and now they have the horses to do it. Having 2 solid backs gives the Chargers flexibility to use different styles of running plays, and that will help keep opposing defenses on their toes. If Hampton can develop quickly and Harris stays healthy, the Chargers could finally have the running game they've been looking for. Now, let's touch on the defense. Yeah, the Chargers lost Poona Ford, but they've added some key pieces to fill the void, including Nash Jones, Dashawn Hand, and Jamari Caldwell. These additions were critical to maintaining a strong defensive front, but the real game changer could be the return of Khalil Mack. When Mack is healthy, he's one of the best edge rushers in the game. The Chargers will need him at his best in 2025 to truly compete with the league's elite teams. The defense as a whole looks solid, and while they'll miss Poona Ford, these new players should be able to step in and contribute immediately. But here's the real kicker, the rookie class. Sure, it's easy to get excited after a draft, but I'm feeling optimistic about the new blood that's been added. The Chargers had a strong 2024 draft, and if even 3 of those guys can step up and contribute immediately, it'll be a huge win for this team. The depth combined with the existing talent gives me confidence that the Chargers have made meaningful improvements. Plus, having so many fresh faces will help provide competition across multiple positions, which is crucial for any team hoping to succeed. The Chargers may have just found their next generation of contributors. So, when Kris Rhim says the Chargers didn't improve enough to reach 10 wins, that's where I take issue. The roster has been upgraded in multiple positions, and Jim Harbaugh has shown he knows how to get the best out of this team. Yes, the schedule is tougher in 2025, but this is a team that has the talent to rise to the occasion. The schedule may be hard, but it's not like the Chargers can't compete against top-tier teams. They just need to prove they can do it consistently. The big question isn't about whether they can be competitive, it's whether they can show up against the better teams on their schedule. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like last season was perfect. We all know the Chargers struggled against some of the better teams in the league. The playoff game against the Houston Texans was a gut punch, and that loss is going to sting for a while. But here's the thing, they've got the talent to make up for that. Herbert is in his prime, and the offensive line should be better. The weapons around him are more dynamic. If the defense can stay healthy, this is a team that has the potential to beat anyone. So, the question becomes, will they do it when it counts? But let's talk about the real goal here, the playoffs. The Chargers aren't just trying to make the postseason, they're trying to win when they get there. I've heard a lot of people say, well, just getting into the playoffs is good enough. But to me, that's not the goal anymore. This is a team that has all the pieces to make a legitimate playoff run. And getting to the postseason isn't enough. They need to show they can win when it matters. It's about performance, not just participation. And while we're on the topic of expectations, let's talk about the playoff narrative surrounding Justin Herbert. This is the year, folks. For all the doubters who keep saying he's never won a playoff game, well, it's time for him to shut them up. We all know how talented he is, but the next step in his career is leading this team to success when it matters most, when the games get tight and the stakes are high. And if he can do that, there won't be any more he hasn't won in the postseason talk. But it's not just about stats or numbers. It's about what he does on the field when the pressure's on. So, will the Chargers hit 10 wins? Absolutely. Will they face challenges along the way? No question. But if you're sitting here thinking this team didn't improve enough, I think you're underestimating just how much has changed. The Chargers have invested in key positions, and now it's time for them to prove they can handle the pressure. It's not about making the playoffs. It's about doing damage once they get there. This season isn't about building for the future. It's about winning now. The Chargers have all the tools they need to get to the playoffs and make a deep run. The question is, can they finally execute when it counts? Well, that's my take on the Chargers heading into 2025. I'm excited to see how they perform, and we will have a clear picture in the first half of the regular season. If the Chargers win the first 2 games out of 3 against the divisional rivals, I bet they are going to smash the whole season. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Chargers can exceed 10 wins this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Chargers analysis. Until next time, bolt up.